Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Law Firm Marketing Hacks podcast. Thanks for checking out this episode. Today, we are joined by Dawn Hudgins and Beth Stuebe. I hope I'm pronouncing your last name correct, Beth, from ILTA, from the International Legal Technology Association. And we are going to be talking about some of the newest technologies and how lawyers can use it to grow their law firm. Stick around.
You're not just a lawyer, you're a defender of the defenseless. You possess a license that allows you to fight for those who can't fight for themselves. But while you're fighting for others, who's watching out for you? For far too long, lawyers have been fed line after line by big marketing companies, promising the world and delivering nothing. And even worse, think of all the people you were unable to help just because they didn't know you existed. That ends today. It's time to take the power back. This podcast will teach you how law firm marketing really works, how to not only get more clients, but how to get your dream clients, how to save time, how to save money, how to save energy by only focusing on tactics that work so you can grow your firm and help more people, and how to never get screwed by a marketing company ever again. My name is Andy Stickle, and I've helped thousands of lawyers, and I can help you too. This is the Law Firm Marketing Hacks podcast.
All right. Well, Dawn, Beth, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. How are you guys doing today?
Doing well. Thank you. Hope you are.
Great. Good. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm doing great. Now, International Legal Technology Association, I'm really interested in this just because I'm a huge fan of the latest, greatest technology. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what ILTA is and kind of what your goals are and what lawyers might be interested in ILTA?
Okay. Well, let's start off simply. We are the International Legal Technology Association. We have been around for 35 years. At least we will be celebrating our 35th year in 2020. We are mainly focused on education for legal technologists. And as I believe, the legal field develops and changes and grows within the technology community, there are a lot more links connected and tied to that than maybe there was 10 years ago.
Understood. Yeah. So what are some of the biggest challenges that you're seeing right now that law firms are facing in terms of changing technology?
I think with anything, it has a lot to do with behavior. So we produce a technology survey every year. And one of the biggest things that came out of this technology survey when it comes to our membership has a lot to do with change and the behaviors of our people. So it's some people behaviors, I guess, is what we're kind of looking at. Change is difficult. Change when you're dealing with things like legalities is even more difficult because there's less room for error. And so those are definitely the things that we kind of look at and target along well with what's going on in the community. Our volunteers within our membership play a huge role in deciding what we focus on when it comes to education. They're the ones that are sitting in the trenches. They live with this every day. They know what pain points they have, but they also have their expertise. So it's a peer-powered environment where they work together across firms, across the country, internationally, to bring about the best possible education based on the needs and the pain points that they have.
So tell me a little bit about how that works. You said it's peer-powered. I like that idea. And also you said it's volunteers. So tell me a little bit about how that program works. And, if I want to if I'm a lawyer that wants to start upgrading my firm's technology, but I'm kind of not tech savvy and I don't necessarily want to do it by myself. Are these people that, like other lawyers that run law firms and use this stuff every day, that kind of volunteer to take other lawyers by the hand? Is that how it works, or how does that system work?
Somewhat. So a lot of our volunteers and membership, a lot of them are former attorneys who are now technologists because the pain of dealing with with documents and technology was so difficult, they felt they needed to become experts, and then really excelled in that. So first they volunteer. We have a huge group of different areas, like different committees that work together depending upon what the topic is. They brainstorm. They say, hey, this is what I have going on. This is what my need is. There are other people sitting in the room that are the same way, and these rooms literally could be virtually or in person. We take that information and it kind of cascades into development for educational opportunities. And we produce events. We have podcasts, we have articles, we have webinars, all types of things like that. Additionally, we have something that's kind of unique, and that's within our e-groups. And basically, this is real time on a daily basis, where if you are a member, you can go on and say, hey, I have this problem. Has anybody else ever experienced this? Can someone give me direction? Is there something that I should be looking at differently, or can you please help? And it's fantastic to watch the feed blow up with people from different firms, from different parts of the country who have already tried this. They'll share their learnings, their failures, their successes to really help the industry. So although our ILTA staff is a paid staff, all the educational content that we have and the networking opportunities that are available for our membership, those are all volunteer driven.
And this is really how we get to that peer power that Dawn talks about. ILTA is super, super peer powered, because the end of the day, you can go on and ask a colleague that's hundreds and thousands of miles away in different countries, since ILTA's membership and constituents are all over the globe. We really are international. This peer-powered network makes it accessible for everyone to share that common knowledge, the latest information about products or support services, anything that's impacting them. And really that trickles down from our volunteers at the very top level to the people who are helping us on the local levels at those roundtables and virtual events.
Sure. So what types of lawyers or law firms are members of ILTA? Is it all big firms, or do you guys have smaller firms also, or is it a range?
It is truly a all across the board. I mean, I can say that we do have membership in the largest firms across the globe, but we even have small firms too, and medium size. So it's all encompassing, and all are welcome, and everyone gains benefit out of it.
Gotcha. So how many members do you guys have?
25,500, if I'm correct. Is that right, Beth Ann?
Yes, it is. And with over 87% of those kind of members sitting within law firms or government and judicial is a large portion. And we also have a fairly large portion, about 10% of our membership sit in corporate law departments. But we really do think, breaking down by entity size, we have 20% of our members are under 25 attorneys. So that's relatively small as you look across the country.
Yeah.
And really only about 6% have more than 750 lawyers. So those big firms that Dawn mentioned, they're part of us too. But we really do cross the gamut. Yeah.
One thing that really impressed me when I was kind of doing some research about your organization is just the sheer number of events that you guys have. I'm looking at your website, and you guys have, it looks like four events just today. Between it looks like different webinars and local events and different things like that. So are you guys are truly international, and I would imagine you're in pretty much every major city, where if somebody is in a pretty much any major city, they could probably find some of your events. Is that right?
That's true. Additionally, there's the whole virtual aspect of it as well. So we have multiple tiers of events. We have our largest event that takes place in August of every year. That's ILTACon. And usually we have about between 20 and 24 different countries that attend that, with around 4,000 attendees at the event. But then we come down smaller from that. So we have ILTACon Europe, which takes place in November. We have a legal sec event that takes place in June. And then we have specialty events, whether it be on innovation or personal development. or then when you take a look at the 4 events that you just mentioned taking place today, these are true peer-powered content events because our members saw a specific need, and our members actually a lot of times are the ones presenting on these webinars like you're seeing being hosted today.
Sure. Are these run by mostly volunteers, the local events? Like I see there's one in Pittsburgh today. There's no one in Tampa today. There's another one in New Orleans today. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot of those are peer run. But then when we get into our little bit larger events, we do bring people in from the industry. We have guest speakers, keynote speakers. We bring people in from universities. So it's a very diverse perspective. We offer, if people are looking for CLEs, they can take a look at that as well to see if that's offered within that course of an event.
Cool. So what types of technologies are covered? I obviously focus really heavily on marketing. So I really focus on, even when it comes to technology, how lawyers can integrate, their marketing systems with their CRMs and their client management systems, so they can, seamlessly go from advertisement to client to, once the case is finished, they can even have systems in place where they can get reviews from those clients and get referrals from those clients. But what are some of the different categories that you guys are helping people out with?
Well, Dawn, do you mind if I hop that one?
Yeah, go ahead.
So we really try to cover the depth and breadth of legal technology, which, Andy, I know is huge. And marketing is it's a huge component of each of those pieces as well. There's, marketing, security, and CAM. But we we try to cover so much. Those crossroads that come together are really that peer-powered volunteer network that we have. And every year we're covering, huge pieces. Right now we're working on some massive publications and surveys and virtual content. Our webinars, our roundtables, and even some of our events are tied to these. We're going through AI, security. We're taking a look at the idea about how we're, even encompassing community engagement in legal technology, and that's social engagement. We're talking data science, analytics, tools, thinking outside of those really old school traditional technologies, but making sure that it's still acceptable across the international and world stage. As we look at governance, CCPA, GDPR, we're kind of talking about all of those. And then we delve even farther into practice management, tech solutions, IT staffing, corporate legal departments, and how they all interact with each other. And then even more into litigation practice support. Dawn mentioned earlier our technology survey, which starts to pull all of that together. And then we look at each of these components from, KM and practice management. And then we take them onto the international stage and see how that they're, focusing with, content aggregation, data analytics, innovation. All of these are subject areas for us that have every type of programming, from publications and surveys through virtual content. Then those day-to-day local meetings, they could be on any of those topics. Any of those 4 that you saw today could be covering those from a member or partner perspective.
Sure. So what do you think some of the biggest challenges right now that lawyers are going to be facing in the future that really they need to start updating their technology now to adapt to? Where basically if they don't start adapting, they're going to kind of find themselves left behind. Do you see anything kind of on the horizon from what you guys have been researching?
We just had as Dawn mentioned, our ILTACon Europe meeting. And while we were there, our board president, Jim McKenna, and I were in Belfast and speaking very specifically on this topic. And his discussion really centered on the idea that cloud and on-prem capabilities were massively changing to take into account for security. So I think cloud, security, and then I'm seeing an incredible amount of AI and machine learning conversation changers that really didn't exist, 5 or 10 years ago. When we started looking at 2020, that whole idea of Law 2020, we're already there. And people are saying, oh, what'll happen for, 2050? I think that we've got to look a little bit more short term and seeing that the cloud and security are things that we're talking about now. If we don't start innovating and changing them, by 2025, we're already going to be out of the game. And well, frankly, I don't have enough bank accounts for someone to hack that often.
Sure. Well, what's interesting is that you look at how quickly technology is changing. Even though, the iPhone is 10 years old. That's it. maybe 11 years old by this point. And I mean, can you remember a world before the iPhone? Before everyone was obsessed with their smartphones. And it's like, 2007, 2006, we didn't have that stuff. So imagine what it's going to be like in, like you said, 2025 or even like 2023. I mean, Uber didn't exist a few years ago, and now now it's totally disrupting industries where DUIs are down a significant portion because people are taking Ubers. Which, I mean, it's great. Don't drive drunk, but it's just these are things that technology is just so rapidly evolving.
Well, they told us they told us not to call, don't invite a stranger to your house. Now you can order one to bring you your dinner or to drive you to wherever you like. Yeah,
exactly. You're never supposed to get into a car with a stranger, yet now there's a business that is built around getting in cars with strangers and staying at their houses. And it's so interesting how technology evolves and how people change. The other thing is that hacking is a huge thing. How many lawyers out there, and I'm sure you don't know the number of this, but maybe some of this data with how many lawyers out there are having client files and sensitive information just stored on an unsecured company network. I'm sure that's got to be a major concern for lots of people. And is that something you guys ever? Is that something you guys cover a lot?
We have a conference that is in June called LegalSec that is completely 100% about security.
Yeah.
This past year, we had a keynote speaker from the government come and talk about some of these very things, which made for some nervousness with those attendees because people started realizing some of the aspects where they were not secure. When 4 or 5 years ago, you would have thought that they completely were secure in how they were handling it. But what we're seeing is an uptick in education. And that's across the board from every individual within a firm, which is important because it only takes one person to make your system unsecure and to introduce, an attack file of some sort. So we're noticing an increase in this, and people starting to pay a lot more attention to those areas to make sure that they are safe within the firm.
Yeah, I mean it's so important, especially now where everything is a smart device. Where your TV is now spying on you, and people are using cable boxes now to do denial of services attacks and get into company networks. It's just totally crazy. So what are some of those what technologies that you guys see coming on that you kind of are most excited about? What are some of the coolest things that you guys kind of see coming down the pipeline for lawyers?
Well,
please go ahead, Dawn.
No, I was go ahead, Beth, if you've got something.
I'm really excited to see how AI is going to figure into court filings. I think that with the massive backlog that there is, that we know exists, how are AI procedures going to change that? I think it's going to hopefully make the system function a little bit more smoothly than it is. But I also wonder how that document management process is going to change in the interim, and that change management and project management process as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's absolutely that's really interesting, and using AI could hopefully fix a lot of that backlog, but they definitely need to. It's funny because some of this artificial intelligence, look at Tesla. Everybody's really excited about it, autonomous driving and everything, but they still haven't gotten it right. And, there's accidents that are happening constantly. So I think that's also part of the fear is that they understand that it can fix a lot of the problem, but they're also treading very, very lightly because they don't want to unleash something that's going to make major mistakes across things that really affect people's lives. If we're talking about the legal system, so it'll be very interesting to see how that plays out. So if anyone wants to learn more about ILTA, what do you recommend they do? What are some of the best resources for them to check out first if they're new to the organization?
First thing I would recommend is to check out our website. And additionally, when you're looking at our website, there's all kinds of things as far as what we offer, but on there too are ways to contact staff, and our staff is always willing and ready to speak with people if they have questions, ideas, concerns, or just want to know more. And we have people who are dedicated to different parts of not only the firm, but to corporate and to universities as well. And so we do invite them to check that out.
Awesome. Cool. Well, Beth, Dawn, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It's very interesting learning about ILTA. And everyone, if you want to learn more about how you can, first of all, fix your firm's security, because I think everybody probably can tighten that up a little bit, but also some of the exciting technologies that are coming down the pipeline for lawyers, check out ILTA. So guys, thank you so much for hanging out, and I appreciate it, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for listening to the Law Firm Marketing Hacks podcast. Remember to subscribe and to leave a review. Do you want to know how to get more clients flocking to your law firm today? Do you want to get the phone ringing off the hook with more leads? Well, ranking in the top 3 in Google puts you on the fast track to getting more clients. The firms that rank in the top 3 on Google get more leads, more clients, and make more money for their law firms. But how do you get there? Where do you even start? Well, I've created a 24-part video series that is designed to help you skyrocket your firm into the top 3 of the Google Maps. It's 24 videos over my shoulder where I teach you exactly, step by step, how to get your firm in the top of the Google Maps. Go to lawfirmcourse.com and I'll send you a free USB drive with the entire course on it. This course teaches you exactly how to improve your Google rankings and get ranked in the Google Maps. The simple steps are proven to work and lead to more law firm clients fast. In fact, these are the exact strategies that we take when clients hire us to get them into the Google Maps. And don't worry, you don't need to be tech savvy. I show you everything in very simple terms. So go to lawfirmcourse.com today and get your free guide to dominating Google. Hurry up because we're almost out of USB drives, and when they're gone, they're gone. So make sure to go grab yours today.